Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Joe, live in the flesh. I am the Director of Faculty Affairs for the University of People. Today's video is on why do we file plagiarism. We know we should file plagiarism. There's another video on how to file it. But why do we file it? Why is plagiarism so important? If we look at the aspect of plagiarism in the sense that someone's stealing work, then yeah, we get it. But if you look at the cultural aspect of it and say some cultures do not have a grounding for copyright law. Some cultures, plagiarism doesn't really mean a lot. Some places might not even exist. Even in the United States, copyright law is, you can blame Dickens. And he got a lot of flack when he brought it out. Like, wow, I can write something and sell it and make some money as an author, or a shipment can come over and someone else can just copy my words and then sell it for themselves. So Dickens had a hard time pushing stuff through. A couple of years later, here we are. Now, culturally, there are students who might not know copyright law, obviously, or plagiarism, right? Teach them. They have this in orientation. They have this in UNIV. They have this in Comp 1, Comp 2. They have it in the syllabus. They have it in a lot of forums, the peer assessment forum. They have it in Online Student Writing Center. There are a lot of areas where the students will have access to what plagiarism is and how to avoid it. But still, there might be a teaching moment of seeing something versus actually doing something. So if a student is struggling, teach them. You're teachers, right? Teachers teach. If you want to be professor, profess. But teach them how to correct and why they should correct. And this is a cultural lesson. Explain it to them how you would explain stealing is bad. This is a form of stealing. Not only that, it's also maybe the person they're taking from just doesn't have the correct answer. So that is damaging too. Or even better, how can they express something to an employer if they can't do it? If I'm taking a Python course, for example, and I copy everything from Course Hero, I can get 100%, as some of you already know. But if it's not my work, and I don't know how to program in Python or Java or do accounting or look at a biology cell or do a bit of organic chemistry, how useful will that be to my employer? So it's damaging to myself, okay? This is something that needs to be instilled in the student a bit. We're mentors too. We're there for the student. No one's here for the money. I can tell you that much. I'm not. I'll speak for myself. I'm not here for the money. As an instructor, we've got other options, right? But we're here because we believe that education is a human right. That means that you have to be able to cultivate that as well. It's not just enough saying, here's a book. There you go. Let me know what happens later on, right? Tell them why that's important. Why learning from something else is important and see the lineage of that, and why it's important to give credit to that lineage and where their spot is in that lineage and creating something new from it. That's the very cool aspect of creation, of synthesis and analysis, right? So there's that aspect of it. We also have an aspect of damaging the student in the sense that their degree is only worth, okay, great, we're DEAC approved, great, that's awesome. We have some other approvals, great, pat on the back. If everyone's cheating and they get an A for it, just as much as someone's busting their butt, working really hard, getting an A, how much is that diploma really worth? Not a whole much. So they're doing damage to the final product, which is their education. They're not learning, and they're doing damage to the diploma. Not only their diploma, all the other people who are working and busting their butts in your class their diploma. That's why it's also important to report plagiarism. When you do report it, you have to keep in mind it's not always a punitive measure. You're not punishing the student. It's not going to jail. It's giving them help. And if they repeat the offense, then things happen, right? So work with them, but don't let them fool you. I've had students in the past that, okay, let me see. They swore up and down, this is my original work, it is everything, it is my work, I don't care. Well, that's fine. Explain why this paper you have handed in to me has a unicorn background. Because I found that unicorn background on the website you stole, including the wallpaper of the website, to hand in as your own. I've seen students hand in a paper with someone else's name on it. Okay? We're talking black and white plagiarism, but there's also things about they don't know better. Teach them. There's also things about it's a paraphrase instead of a quote. You don't have to kill them for that. Teach them. It's still wrong, and if they keep doing it, make sure there's a penalty. Because if you're in my class, better example, if I'm in your class, got Dr. Joe today, right? He's sitting down, he's doing some work, I'm in biology. All right, that's where I started out with. Anyways, started out in biology. I'm in biology, and I am rocking and rolling, but I got a little hiccup, because, you know, this, that guy had a phase, metaphase, okay, how do I do this? Google, course here, Wikipedia, whatever it is, paste it as my own, change my name on it, so it's my name, not going to fool me twice in that, and give it to you. And you're going to say, like, geez, this is plagiarism. You know, and I'll say, oh, I didn't know. And maybe I didn't know. So you can give me the benefit of the doubt. But I'm also in this other instructor's computer science class. And I did the same thing. I'm also in your math class. And I did the same thing. Do you see where I'm going? I might tell each of my instructors that I only did this once. I promise it will never happen again. Each of the instructors from 3 classes. Maybe I've done this for my entire university career. Ooh. Now that's 20 classes. Maybe I just did it once. That's still 20 times I cheated. Maybe it's 30 times. Maybe I did it twice in this class and that class. Do you see how it adds in, right? We don't have the luxury of talking to each other in communication saying, oh, this student so-and-so is doing this. We don't have that luxury. It's not an on-site course. I will never walk past you in a hall. If I do, wave and say hello, of course. I don't know who you are, but you can always just wave, right? But we don't have that in online. You know, we have Slack, we have Yammer, we have emails and FRC, and that's good and all, but we don't have that physical contact saying, I've graded papers like this, UNLV, like, oh, this is a stack of plagiarism. And they're like, oh, is Josh in your class too? Like, yeah, he's hitting this stuff in. We don't have that luxury here. So we have to be diligent. And diligence is really the key. Why do we report plagiarism? Because we need to be diligent. All right? We need to protect our students. Do no harm. That is if you are wondering what my motto is for the academic and faculty affairs, it is do no harm. That's why I tell the instructors who come underneath me, that's why I tell any of my staff, do no harm. You might think you're not harming people by not reporting them, but you are. We already went over how, right? Do no harm. See the error, fix the error if you can. Use it as a teaching moment, fix it right there, point it out, have them fix it for half credit or no credit or high five, whatever you want. Great. They learn, awesome. They never do it again, even better. Do no harm. They keep doing it, it's self-harm. It's harm to the other fellow students. It's harm to your subject. In the very least, you should be offended that someone's going into your expertise and saying it's worthless. Do it for that reason if you have to, but do no harm. All right? Report it. Doesn't mean the student's going to get kicked out. You know, it's not the end of the world. Report it, but be fair about it, okay? I can go on and on. You know, if anyone knows me, you know I can talk forever. So I'm going to try to wrap this up for 10 minutes. Here we go. But that's the basics of why. If you have any questions of why do you report it? Please ask Faculty Affairs. I'll have a conversation with you. We'll email. We'll Skype, whatever. You know, it's important because we are only as good as our product. And our product, if you really want to do a business thing, it makes me uncomfortable doing a business thing. Our product is education, man. It's human right. It's a human right. Our product is a human right. So you better take that as sacred, and that's why we have to make sure it's pure and good. You know, because it is sacred. And my name is Dr. Joe Shefchak. On behalf of University of People, I bid you good day.